What's up, friends? Welcome to SPDM TV. My name is Mike, part of the SPDM crew, and I watch a lot of TV. We talk about various TV topics, reviews, a general appreciation of TV past and new. You can follow me on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and Serialized at MLHilty2452 to see what all I'm watching. This week, I have just started reading up on the news that Paramount, which is the parent company of such channels as Comedy Central, I guess Paramount TV, Showtime, but MT and Nickelodeon and MTV has decided that it is going to be shutting down MTV's music channels after about 4 decades of being on the air. Now, this comes as a bit of a devastating piece of news for me because MTV is a major part of who I was growing up. And between the shows, between the music videos, and just between the culture it created, MTV was just paramount for anybody who grew up in the 80s, 90s, and even into the early 2000s as well. Yes, I do concede that there are a number of MTV channels or MTV programs that are just straight garbage, and that a lot of people are kind of wondering whether or not the cultural significance is actually a thing. But I can't deny that MTV has is going to have a lasting impact between all of its various channels between MTV, MTV2, classics, even into the VH1 days as well. So MTV will always hold a special place in my heart. And it's, again, just pretty devastating news that they are shutting down all of the MTV movie channels. But if you think about it, MTV unfortunately has not been relevant when it comes to the music scene pretty much since the dawn of YouTube, because MTV was the primary place where you could watch such things or watch music videos. It was always a big deal when a new music video was being presented. But yeah, it's just sad that something that I grew up with is just not going to be around in the same way that it was anymore. But it is what it is with that. So in honor of MTV, what I am going to do is I'm going to go through some of the shows that MTV had that I just really enjoyed. Over the years, MTV has had a treasure trove of various shows that I greatly enjoyed. And for me, just like it's almost overwhelming to kind of go through some of these shows and just think, oh, geez, I can't believe that this was on MTV for a long time. So going through some of these older shows, starting kind of with like the music side, I obviously have to start with TRL. TRL is the thing that I know for me, I grew up watching, and kind of that was appointment viewing when I was in middle school. But hey, they tried bringing it back a couple of times, but it didn't always work. Let's see, Yo MTV Raps. I do remember that. 120 minutes where they just played music video for 2 hours straight. That was always a lot of fun. Let's see what else we got. The Grind. I do remember that. That was pretty much MTV's answer to Soul Train, where it was pretty much just a dance show that they would put on, where you would get to just watch people dance the whole time. I remember After Hours. After Hours was definitely a thing. MTV Live. Yeah, that's another thing as well, is that those unplugged versions were really great. But I Spy Video, Lunch with Jesse, Total Request, the original version of Total Request was Matt Pinfield just talking about music videos, and not really doing a whole lot of anything when it comes to like the live version of this. So moving on to some of like the news and documentary shows, you've got such shows as True Life. True Life was a big show for me. MTV Diary. Yeah, those are the main ones from that. Moving on to reality shows, The Real World. The Real World and Road Rules will always be two shows that I, greatly enjoyed and are a huge part of me growing up. Fanatic, I remember the show Fanatic, where they would bring in a fan of a particular show, and then they would, or a fan of a particular anybody, and then they would get a chance to interview all those people. Fear, that was their paranormal one. I remember that. Making the band and making the video as well. Those were both a lot of fun. Punked. Oh god, fuck that show. But I remember Punked when it was a thing. Let's not forget that shows like Jackass, Viva La Bam, and Wild Boys all originated on MTV. Without them, we wouldn't have, stupid shit for us to, look at. Got Pimp My Ride. That was that was another one. My Super Sweet 16 was in there for a hot minute. Let's not forget shows like Laguna Beach, The Hills, different things like that. Jersey Shore started on what is it on MTV. 16 and Pregnant, yeah, different things like that. Can't forget about any of that. Catfish, the TV show, recently was canceled on MTV, so can't forget the you know that had a large audience, and it was for a long time. I cannot believe that. For other reality shows, the Newlyweds, Nick and Jessica was on there. The Osbournes, MTV Cribs was the thing for a hot minute. Meet the Barkers was there. Robin Big, big fan of Robin Big. Yeah, those are the celebrity shows. Competitive shows. Okay, this is where they had Road Rules. Singled Out. I remember Singled Out. God, that show is just interesting. A lot of dating shows that happened during this time as well. Date My Mom was on there. Next was on there. Yeah, all of those were pretty interesting shows. So talk shows, some that come to mind. Loveline was definitely there. The Tom Green Show. Yeah, the Tom Green Show. Wild and Out, which for some strange reason has been making its way on my TikTok feed. So that has been something that has been coming about a lot lately. And then let's talk about some of the other just random shows that they had going on. So some shows that they had Skins had an American reboot for a little while, which was, interesting to say the least. Then we have Teen Wolf, Scream as well, the first couple seasons, the Shannara Chronicles as well. Their their comedies are iconic from this time frame as well, because you have such shows as they list Tom Green together. I can't believe that's on there, but Jackass is listed here. I look at this as well, and I think about all of the cartoons that we had from this. So like Beavis and Butthead. We don't get Beavis and Butthead without MTV. We have Daria. We have Celebrity Deathmatch, Ren and Stimpy as well, which was curiously shared by Nickelodeon, which is odd to say the least. Clone High, a Spider-Man the animated series. Like also, I remember how My So-Called Life used to play on MTV from time to time as well. So yeah, those are just some of the shows that I remember growing up with. I'm sure I've missed a lot, but I'm very curious. What are some of your favorite MTV shows that you watched and that were ones that you remember growing up with? Let me know in the comments below. Rest in peace to MTV, the music channels at least, for 40 plus amazing years of making great stuff happen for television and for the music industry as well. So that's going to do it for this episode of SPDM TV. Be sure to like, rate, and subscribe to anything and everything SPDM Crew, wherever you get your podcast. Join us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, X, Threads, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Blue Sky Crew. Check out our website at .com. Shout out Tie Flyer Creative Studios for making our awesome logo. Greatly appreciate their support. Check out the other shows on our network. We've got a lot of great content. Really proud of the work that everyone's doing. So please check out the other shows on the SPDM Crew. And finally, if you've got a podcast idea or you're interested in being part of the SPDM Crew as a guest or collaborating, email us at spdmcrew@gmail.com. Until next time, happy watching, friends.